Hi, everyone. My name is Roxana Said, and I'm a realtor in San Diego at Berkshire Hathaway. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with my friend, Alissa Todd. Alissa, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I am Alissa. I am a financial advisor with the Wealth Consulting Group, and I really act as my client's personal CFO, whether it's on your investment strategy or your financial planning, really putting a roadmap in place to help you achieve your financial goals. And it's really my mission to make investing and financial planning less intimidating and less scary for you.
Amazing. And funny story, Alissa and we actually met at a networking event in San Diego. But I knew her beforehand through social media. So the power of social media.
It's amazing.
And I'll link all of Alissa's information below. She's super active on social, gives so much great information. So definitely follow her. Okay, so Alissa, now more than ever, and you and I have had multiple conversations around this, especially during quarantine, but it's such a great time to kind of reflect and look into our goals, both short-term and long-term, whether that be, spiritually, financially, physically, health-wise. And what I think is super important for those in their 20s and 30s. I started looking into investing when I was like 22, 23, and I wish I knew a bit more back then. But you personally specialize in sustainable investing. I think it's so valuable to learn more about this. So why don't we kind of start there? Can you tell us a bit more about sustainable investing and what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an area that we really specialize in at the Wealth Consulting Group, and it's a huge passion of mine. So again, keeping in mind that investing is a very long-term approach. With sustainable investing, or sometimes you'll hear it referenced as ESG investing, it's looking at companies with an extra level of screening. So you're really looking at the business practices of companies with the best structures in place, with the best business practices in three main areas: environmental, social, governance. And that's why it's referred to as ESG investing or sustainable investing. So when you're thinking about environmental aspects, looking at a company and asking, okay, what are they doing to reduce their plastic usage in their packaging, in their products? What are they doing to reduce their carbon footprint, have more energy efficient systems within their company? And when you look at the social aspect, social is really looking at human capital and, okay, how are employees being treated? Like, what does your supply chain management look like? What are your, labor standards? And now more than ever, especially with this pandemic, you're hearing a lot about things that are related to a company's social policies, right? Are they putting safety measures in place for their employees? Are they paying their employees during this time? And again, all of these things will have a financial consequence for the company, because it's a lot more costly for a company to constantly be hiring and retraining employees when there's turnover versus just retaining productive and successful employees.
Right.
Yeah, and then on the governance, which I think is one of the most interesting aspects, is one of the big areas in governance is diversity.
Right.
So looking at board diversity, if you have a board member, 10 board members, like, are there any women on the board? And research has shown time and time again that if there are 3 or more women on the board for a company, that's when they see a difference in a company's financials. It's
Wow.
super interesting. Yeah, you have 1 woman on board, kind of a token woman to just mark off a checkbox. But when there's 3, that's when they're seeing that's when they see a difference in a company's financials. So all these things, the E, S, and G, they all really looking at companies that are actually sustainable. And when you look up the definition sustainability, it's really something that can survive and really thrive in current conditions. So you're really looking at sustainable companies in that way. And we find that by doing that, you're actually reducing risk, but then also it also helps with performance.
Absolutely. And I just think it's such an important, sector when it comes to investing, and something that I'm extremely passionate about. So thank you for that explanation. And in terms of like breaking it down a bit further, Some questions that you may be getting a lot nowadays is, what should we be looking into investing now, given the current economic situation? And maybe what are some of those like wealth builders that we can be focusing on or planning for?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a question I've been getting asked a lot, especially right now. And, I think many people are recognizing that this is a great buying opportunity, right? The stock market, appears to be on sale, if you want to, if you want to say it like
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Um, but again, if you have emergency reserves, if you are paying off your high interest rate debts and you have extra money, then we have been, suggesting to clients that if you can afford it, put some more money towards your investments. And when we're really thinking about where's a good place to put our money right now, and I just did a mini training on this, is that we don't want to get stuck in the thought process of, okay, what is a good company to invest in now because of this pandemic? So there's certain services and products that are more high in demand, but instead of just picking those things, because then you're really trying to time a company stock, right? You're trying to time the market, but remembering, okay, investing is a long-term approach, and what are companies that are going to thrive, not just right now, but after this, after this is over as well. I generally, when it comes to wealth builders, I share with my clients, there's really 3 different ways that you can build your wealth, and they all each have their corresponding income stream. So the first one is really your business, right? And through your business, you can have active or passive income.
Right.
The second way, of course, is investment securities, and that can down the road produce either taxable, tax preferred, or tax deferred income. And then, of course, third, real estate, what you can help clients with. And that can also, if it's an investment property, that can produce rental income as well.
Perfect. I also think, you focus, most of your clientele tends to be millennials, right? If you were to kind of give someone valuable piece of advice in terms of what they should be looking into out of all those wealth builders, is there one in particular, or does it kind of depend on the individual specifically?
Yeah, such a good question. I think it really does depend on the individual, because you can have a combination of all 3, right? You can be a business owner, you can have investment properties, and you can also have an investment portfolio. Or some people, decide to focus on one thing. So really, if someone is watching it, the best thing that you can do is really think with the end in mind. Like, where do you want to be? Like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road, and then just reverse engineer that. And that will tell you what to do today.
Perfect. And of course, reach out to you directly to kind of figure out what's best for your case. So I also want to touch base on this because you have been such a huge advocate on mindfulness. In terms of practicing meditation, and you've always given me such amazing resources. So when we talk about mindfulness as a whole, how does that play into our finances? And what are some key factors, I guess, that we should be focusing on when we think about mindfulness and our finances?
Mindfulness is such an awesome topic. And first, I think realizing that you have a relationship with money, right? Whether it's a positive of it or a negative relationship, like you do have one. And so to also assess, like, where do you stand in your current relationship with money? And it means that it can also change, right? So it's constantly evolving. And mine has evolved over the last few years as well. And are you more in a scarcity or abundance mindset? And I think the first step is just really recognizing how you actually treat your money. Are you taking it seriously? Or are you just, you're earning money and you're spending it? So first, I think like really assessing like how your relationship with money stands today and what you want it to look like, because you can definitely change it. There's, your relationship with money is one of the most important things, because money affects so many different parts of our lives. We're just never really taught what to do with it.
Absolutely.
And so when it comes to mindfulness, I'm a big advocate of doing money dates, whether it's with yourself or with your partner. Take time to actually look at your money, express gratitude. We're both big into gratitude writing, meditation, and all of that as well. without
Yes.
a price to your money too.
Which I think is actually so extremely helpful. I didn't really understand the connection until I started having more conversations with you about it and then doing that 21-day
Yeah.
challenge for a meditation. And so I definitely think that there's a lot to learn when it comes to being more mindful of how we think about money and how we spend money. And so, yes, I definitely agree. Okay, well, that kind of wraps it up. I wanted to keep this very short and educational. Is there anything else that you want to add for our audience?
I think that the first step, any step, doing something today, do something today that your future self is going to thank you for, and just
Absolutely.
take action now.
Love that. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. Again, everyone, I will go ahead and put Alissa's information below. So please feel free to reach out with any questions. And we hope that you are doing well and staying safe during this time. And we'll talk to everyone soon.